Now, a review of issues affecting women is being undertaken with the aim of bringing about a cultural and mindset change on values like gender equality and respect for women.
Minister for Law and Home Affairs K. Shanmugam said yesterday that the review is sparked in part by incidents of voyeurism on campuses, and it will seek to instill gender equality as a fundamental value that is internalized by boys and girls from a young age.
Well, there will be a series of upcoming sessions with stakeholders, including women's and youth groups, to collect feedback and recommendations. These will form the basis of a white paper to be tabled in Parliament in the first half of next year.
Mr. Shanmugam said the review will be broadly categorized to address the sort of changes in mindset needed and how to develop them from a young age. It will tackle issues in the home like protecting women from being victims of violence from family members and intimate partners. It would also try to better recognize the indispensable roles women play as wives, mothers, caregivers and homemakers.
It will examine the way women are viewed in school and the workplace as well, and tackle the need for equal opportunities and protection from sexual harassment, assault and workplace discrimination. It will also look at issues in the community like gender stereotyping and how women are addressed in the manner of speech or ways of thinking.
The review will be led by Minister of State for Culture, Community and Youth, as well as Trade and Industry Low Yan Ling, Parliamentary Secretary for Health Rahayu Mahzam, and Minister of State for Social and Family Development and Education Soon Sheling.
Well, Ms. Soon joins us to tell us more. Thank you so much for coming on the show. So the review will involve sessions with stakeholders, including women's and youth groups, to collect their feedback and recommendations. So Ms. Soon, can you share with us the specifics of these plans?
We hope that this will be a whole of society exercise because to address an issue such as women's development in Singapore, we're going to have to speak to people across different age groups, across different sectors, from all walks of life, to get a sense of what they think about how far we have come and what more we can do. So we hope to reach out to the people sectors, the private sectors. We hope to work with VWOs. We also have some partner organizations who will be organizing these conversations for us. Organizations such as the SCWO, NTUC, PA Reach, and many more. We expect to have many conversations, perhaps even beyond the 10 to 12 that we originally envisaged.
And what areas will be covered, particularly what pressing issues need to be addressed?
Yesterday, we had our first conversation. And since it was our first conversation, we thought that we would roughly scope it out to cover women issues that deal with the home, workplace and the school environment and the community. And this was just the first conversation, and some topics have already been thrown up. And we think that with more conversations, there will be more areas. For instance, some of the topics that came up yesterday in the home context was, for instance, concerns about family violence towards women, concerns about disproportionate burden of caregiving responsibilities being on women. I think the pandemic has cast a spotlight onto this area. And also, how do we weigh the contributions of women who are homemakers, for instance? And in the workplace and school environments, questions such as, is there workplace discrimination, gender pay gap, and are there appropriate policies in place to ensure that women, when we say that they have choices, that they have real choices, for instance, that they are able to readily make a choice between how they want to balance what they want to do at work with, for instance, their caregiving responsibilities at home. And policies such as flexible workplace arrangements may go quite far towards helping women balance their commitments at work and at home. The last part of it, community, I think we really have to ask ourselves whether or not there is a casual sexism, for instance, whether we have gender stereotypes, and if so, what are the underlying values we have? How are we treating women? Do we respect women enough? Do we need a mindset change? I think these are some of the areas that just yesterday, for the first conversation we had, these are some interesting areas that have been thrown up, and I'm pretty sure that with more conversations, the larger society, the community are going to bring up even more issues, and we're going to have to look into them seriously and decide what is the best way forward.
Mr. Shanmugam announced this review just yesterday, a rather short period, until our interview today. But what reactions has the team received so far to this review?
Oh, it has been very, very encouraging. Just the conversation yesterday itself, we had many participants very enthusiastically respond during the different breakout sessions that we have. And after that, a few hours after the conversation we had yesterday, I had many emails come in, text messages, people from different organizations, different walks of lives, wanting to be involved in these conversations. So that's why I'm saying that originally we thought that maybe 10 to 12 national conversations would give us a broad sweep of the potential issues. But now we're thinking maybe we need to organize even more conversations, because it seems that there is quite a lot of interest in this area.
Ms. Soon, Minister also said that these changes should be developed from a young age in girls and boys. Are separate programs needed then to teach them specific values relevant to their gender?
Actually, we would like the starting point to be a position that the different genders, men and women, should be treated equally, and that we ought to ensure that gender roles, respect, towards women, what we see as role models, how values are being taught at home. We think that such conversations, we should perhaps start from a position of equality between the sexes. So if we have that as a starting point, perhaps we don't really want to artificially impose programs that silo boys from girls. But if there are specific areas that are brought up where we think that more intervention is needed, then perhaps at that point, we'll have to look carefully at what is needed.
Right. Well, Ms. Soon, getting feedback and recommendations is a great start, but what kind of real policy or structural changes can this entire movement lead to?
Minister Shanmugam had shared that we're working towards a white paper. What that means is that after we collect feedback from all parts of society, we want to put them together as a set of recommendations. And we hope that this set of recommendations is going to be broad enough and far-reaching enough, which sets out our position as a society as to how we see women development and gender equality. And we're going to present this set of recommendations in the form of a white paper to the government. It will be debated in Parliament. There will be more views, and I'm pretty sure more people will provide their views upon seeing how it is debated in Parliament. And after that, if there is a need for policy changes or legislative changes, then we will address it at that point. But first, I think we need to come to a consensus on how we see women development in Singapore and what we think are the important issues that need to be addressed.
Right. Well, we certainly look forward to seeing the results of this review. Thank you so much for setting aside some time to speak with us, Ms. Soon. We've been speaking to Ms. Soon Xueling, Minister of State for Social and Family Development and Education.